Hi, I'm Kristina Kuprina, and this is part 2 of my videos celebrating Birch Bark Foundation's SBIT 10 campaign, celebrating their 10th year of serving our animals and our communities. One, you can do just about anything. Only your mind tells you it's not possible. If you had asked me 4 years ago if I would be adopting and rescuing rats, I probably would have thought you were pretty crazy. But through a series of events that happened in my life and keeping a very open mind at something, we ended up doing so. And it has changed my life. Where I thought, oh, I don't know how I'm going to have time to take care of them. I work 10 to 12 hours a day. My life is busy and full. It's amazing what things come to you when you keep an open mind. Crockpots are my friend, so I have a bit of time with them in the evening after work. It really, really makes a big difference when you serve another person or another creature. It expands your mind and shows you so many capabilities about yourself and about others. So these little guys are completely dependent on me, like most of our fur babies, if not all, for food, for water, for protection, for shelter. So that's a great responsibility. I don't have children. I've never gone through the path of being responsible for another human being outside of their financial lives. So being responsible for the caring of another animal has been really transformative to me, putting them before you and making sure that they're taken care of. Well, as you can imagine, if you're adopting animals, sometimes you get them, they're towards the end of their life or not in the best health. Unfortunately, rats only live about 2 years. So we have had a number of our fur babies, beautiful rats, cross the Rainbow Bridge. And you learn to care for them, you learn to take care of them, you learn to help and adapt to them as their health changes. I have one right now that's had a stroke and needs to be hand-fed and cared for. It takes a lot of time for my husband and I to make sure that that's done. So caregiving is that selflessness of caring for another person or another animal above your own needs. That was a very, very powerful lesson in my life. Grieving. As I mentioned earlier, rats don't really live a long time. So we've been through the grieving process many times. It's actually a beautiful process in many ways. When the time comes, my husband, who's a woodworker, builds a beautiful box. We write messages on it and give them a great burial and a bit of a ceremony. And the one thing I've learned about grief, having not lost people close to me often in life, is that grief is the gateway to love. You cannot grieve if you do not love. So going through the experience of grief, which is something in the past, like many, I've avoided, didn't want to do, I've learned to embrace it as an act of love or an experience of love. Animals have the power to change our lives in so many ways. Sometimes we think we're helping them, but they're really helping us. And I want to lead this over to birch bark, because the power of what birch bark does in our communities, there's so much they do, but I want to focus for a moment on something where I've seen myself, the difference that it makes, and that is this. Everyone who has their deer fur babies, or scale babies, or feathered babies, or any of their pet companions, sometimes they need extra care, they need veterinary care. Perhaps it's for the end of life, and perhaps it's to help them through an illness. And that can be very financially devastating to many people, especially people on a fixed income. Can you imagine how that must feel to watch your animal be in pain and not have the means to care for them, or to put them down if that's what's necessary? Well, what birch bark does with that is amazing, to help cover the costs of the veterinary care so no one and no one's animal has to suffer. Another one, which is near and dear to my heart, having experienced it so many times over the last couple of years, is grief support and counseling. Sometimes it's difficult when you lose an animal in your life because not everybody understands that you can grieve as much, if not more, than you would for the loss of a human. There's many other great services they have. I invite you to go to their website and take a look at what they do. And I thank you very much for listening to my videos. Have a good day. Bye.